happy 2026, everyone. Back here for our annual real estate predictions for the new year and a review of my predictions from 2025 to see what I got right and what I got wrong. So, excuse me while I look down at my notes and hopefully you don't get too good of a view of my receding hairline here. But anyway, so my three predictions for 2025 real estate was rates won't touch the fives, which was true. We never got to the point where we were in the fives for interest rates unless you bought down the note. So 100% accurate on that, and that they would hover around the mid sixes. And most estimates had the average around 6.6%. So was 100% correct on the interest rates, which is actually surprising because those tend to be the most, honestly, it's throwing darts at a wall. But got that one right. So second prediction was an uptick in transactions by roughly 10%. So there we roughly ended up with 34 to 35,000 closed properties in the Denver metro area in 2024. So that would put by 10%, we'd be roughly around 39,000 homes closed in 2025. It looks like we're going to be closer to that 41,000. So while I was slightly off, pretty accurate there as well. So I'll go ahead and give myself that one. Then definitely off on this last one. So I had a 3 to 5% appreciation for the Denver metro area. Depending on the source, it looks like we're going to end up anywhere from down roughly 2% on average to up 2%. So I know that's a kind of a large variable, but depending on what site you look at or kind of where depending on what site, where that site is pulling their inventory or their numbers from, it kind of gives a wide range on appreciation. But I was definitely not right on the 3 to 5%, a little high on that one. But so yeah, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. But 2025 review. So 2026 predictions now. So as we enter this year, housing is becoming a much larger political topic that not both from a national perspective and a local level. So affordability is driving that conversation. So obviously, as rates have gone up and rents have not come down, prices haven't necessarily come down all that much. There's a lot of pressure on politicians to try to fix housing. So I don't necessarily have a prediction in regards to what's going to happen. That's, obviously crazy ideas like the 50-year mortgage have been floated and other kind of out of the box ideas have come up. I mean, really I think my biggest prediction is just going to be a much larger topic, especially as we hit into midterms. I think that's going to be a much larger topic, which historically housing hasn't really been a huge, especially from the national perspective, topic that has been discussed. So whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I'll save my own personal opinion on that. But, nationally, it's going to be extremely difficult from a national perspective to change housing too much to drive a reduction in price or improve affordability. Really, the best changes could come from a local perspective. So hopefully Colorado can lead the way in some of those promising ideas to increase or have some creative ideas on how to make housing a little bit more affordable for the average person. So going back to interest rates, I think where the range will be anywhere from 5.9 to maybe 6.5% this year. Right now, as I speak today, we're right at 6.2%. So I don't foresee a large drop much further than that at 6.2%. We can, if the Fed doesn't cut rates additionally this year, we can see if the gap between the interest rates comes down to its more historical norm. We could get down to those fives even without the Fed doing anything on interest rates, but I don't see it going too much more. The big question is if we ever do get to the point where rates start with a 5, does that bring a lot of buyers in? It's more of a, the classic pricing. Instead of pricing something at $2, you price it at $1.99, a psychological perspective. Will that work on interest rates? And if we do start with a 5, will that bring in more buyers off the sideline? So, but I do think, like I said, 5.9 to 6.5%, somewhere in that range, with it probably averaging somewhere in the low 6s would be my guess for the year. Finally, inventory. So we peaked with a roughly 14,000 homes on market in 2025. I don't think we'll quite reach that in 2026. I think a lot of sellers are going to be a little bit more picky on if they actually, unless they absolutely have to sell their home, they may, with a lot of them seeing their neighbors' homes over the past year sit for much longer or not ended up selling for as much as they thought they would. I think that will take a lot of buyers, or excuse me, a lot of sellers that were considering selling and maybe keeping them on the sidelines. So I think we'll have less inventory overall by a little bit. I think we'll get close to that 14,000 mark in this summer, but I don't think we'll actually surpass it. And the other effect would be, I think we'll get a little bit more buyers in the market this year than we have historically. So all things to keep an eye on in 2026, and we'll revisit this a year from now to see how these predictions end up. But hope you guys have a great start to your year, and look forward to talking to you here soon.